Hey, this is Kamori, and today we're going to talk about motivation in cosplay. Now, it's really easy to get super pumped about a costume when you discover a new character and you're like, oh, I want to cosplay that. And then the excitement and the motivation kind of slides downhill as time goes on and you're like, do I really want to work on this costume? Well, here are a few tips to help you keep motivated while working on your cosplay. Tip number 1 is to create a permanent deadline for yourself. Sign up for a contest, schedule a photo shoot with a photographer, find some way to make a deadline that is completely non-negotiable. You have to have the costume done by that time, and for some people that works really well for motivating them because they have a specific timeline that they have to adhere to. Tip number 2 is to post on social media. If you take work-in-progress pictures and post your progress onto social media, you can get feedback from your audience who are sometimes really excited about the character you're cosplaying, and sometimes that excitement can transfer back to you. Another option is to keep a daily progress log, so that motivates you to do something every day. Even if it is as simple as sewing on a button, it inspires you to do something so that you can keep posting every day. Tip number 3 is to refresh your memory. Remind yourself why you wanted to cosplay that particular character in the first place, either by watching the show, watching Let's Plays, listening to the soundtrack while you're working on your costume to keep that inspiration going. Tip number 4 is to ride the hype train. Follow blogs or Tumblrs or Twitters of people who are also really into the series that you're cosplaying from, and seeing the fan work, reading fan fiction that can really serve to rekindle your love for the character, remind you of specific scenes or specific instances that really made you like the character and why you wanted to cosplay them in the first place. Just be careful to not go a little bit too far down the rabbit hole and you end up spending all your time consuming fan content instead of actually working on your costume. Tip number 5 is live streaming. There are all sorts of platforms for live streaming nowadays through Twitch or Facebook or YouTube, and having an audience watching you work can be inspiring and help keep breaks to the minimum. If you know someone is watching you while you're making progress on your costume, it can, for some people, detour them from spending time on other things like checking Facebook messages or just scrolling through Instagram when you know someone is watching you and when you're also interacting with someone else. Tip number 6 is to have a sewing party. Plan an event with friends, other cosplayers, to work on your costumes together. Even if you're not working on costumes from the same series, it can be really helpful to have someone around that you can bounce ideas off of if you get stuck. Tip number 7 is to plan your next costume. If you're super hyped about the next character that you discovered and you really want to cosplay them, you can use that motivation for the other character and turn it into energy to finish the project you're already working on. If you are someone who can really tell yourself, like, no, you can't work on that new costume until you finish the old one, you can use that as incentive to finish it. And finally, tip number 8 is to take a break. This sounds kind of counterproductive to having motivation if you're taking a break from something, but sometimes that's really what's necessary in order to move forward with a project, especially if you're really frustrated with a particular aspect of it. Sometimes it's a good idea to just set it aside and do something else for a little while, and that gives your brain some time to refocus and maybe even come up with a solution to a problem that you're having. And those were 8 tips for cosplay motivation. If there's something I missed, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you stay motivated to work on cosplay. For more cosplay videos, please subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.